I'm in college. Last night, I played the most disturbing game of Never Have I Ever with my roommates. If you don't know the game, it goes like this. Everyone holds up 5 fingers. You go around the room, saying never have I ever followed by something you've never done. Everyone who's done that thing has to put a finger down. 5 fingers down, and you lose. Anyway, last night we'd been drinking a bit, and a lot of juicy secret sharing was going on. We'd learned Tina and Layla had been skinny dipping. I cheated on a test, and now Layla had been in a threesome. You had a threesome. Aaron gasped. Who was it? She doesn't have to tell. That's not part of the rules, Tina said. But, Aaron pouted. Okay, fine. My turn. Never have I ever had sex outside. You know, if you keep doing sex once, I'm going to lose in like 2 seconds, Layla said, adjusting her glasses. Okay, I'll do something different, Tina said. She leaned in closer and lowered her voice to an almost whisper. Never have I ever seen someone die. An uneasy silence settled over us. Our smiles faded, and we glanced at each other. Then Aaron and I each put our fingers down. Going with the creepy theme here, Layla said, never have I ever used a Ouija board. Aaron and I put our fingers down again. It had been back in September, shortly after that girl, Lucy, disappeared. 1 year above us, majoring in art history. Looking back on it, it wasn't the most respectful thing to do. She was dead, probably, and here we were making some spooky thing out of it. Although, not to shift blame, but it really was Aaron's idea. Your turn, Layla said. Right, okay. My throat was dry. I reached over and took a sip of my grasshopper. Never have I ever smoked pot. Then it was Aaron's turn. She spun off mine, saying she'd never smoked a cigarette. And then we were back to Tina. For a second, she didn't say anything. We all stared at her, and she stared back, her eyes nearly black in the dim light. She was smiling, slightly, as she looked at all of us, hesitating, ramping up the tension. Never have I ever killed someone. Dead silence. Then Layla finally spoke, forcing a laugh. What the hell? She asked, crossing her tattooed arms over her chest. Of course none of us have ever. She stopped mid-sentence, and then she pointed at Aaron. You had 3 fingers up before, she said, her voice weak. Smell. I looked at Aaron. She sat there, stone-faced, holding up her pinky and ring fingers. She surveyed Layla with her cold blue eyes, then shook her head. No, I didn't. You totally did. Did you kill someone? Aaron narrowed her eyes. If I did, do you really think I'd be stupid enough to put down a finger? Tina and I glanced at each other, eyes wide. Layla, I finally cut in, unsure she had 3 fingers up before. You sure? You saw her? No, I didn't see her, but I mean, obviously, she didn't kill anyone. Layla focused back on Aaron. He put 1 down for the Ouija board, and 1 for seeing someone die. What was the 3rd one for? Skinny dipping, she replied, without hesitating. No, wait, Tina cut in. That doesn't make sense. You said you don't know how to swim. That's why you wouldn't come with us to Lake Crystal. So, you can skinny dip without swimming. That's why it's called skinny dipping, not skinny swimming. But I could hear it in her voice. She was getting flustered. My stomach twisted, and my heart began to pound. No, there's no way, is there? There was no way Aaron killed someone. And even if she had, there was no way she'd admit it in a game of Never Have I Ever. The whole thing was ridiculous. But then why is she acting so weird? Why isn't she just laughing it off? My hands were shaking now. I looked at Layla and Tina, and they both looked just as terrified as I was. Maybe she did kill someone. Maybe something was bothering me, nagging at the back of my mind. Something I thought was insignificant when it happened, but now seemed very significant. I don't want to play anymore, Aaron said abruptly. She got up off the floor and set her drink down on the table. You guys are being too weird. She started down the hallway where her and my bedrooms lay. Wait, I stood up. She slowly turned around. What, Caroline? She asked, her eyes empty. You going to accuse me of murder too? No, just, where were you that night? The night Lucy went missing. Excuse me, she spat. The gears were turning in my head. Before, I hadn't put the pieces together. It wasn't weird for Aaron to be out that night. I'd been out all night, at Jared's place, or at a party, and so had Tina and Layla. And yet, it wasn't a weekend night. It was just a random Wednesday, around 2 a.m., when I heard Aaron's door creak open next to mine. Heard her footsteps thumping down the hall. I'd woken again with a start around 4 a.m. to hear her coming home. Later that day, we'd heard Lucy was missing. Where were you? I asked. Again, I heard you leave. Around 2 a.m. it was the night she went missing. Erin's expression blanked. Then, in an instant, she ran down the hallway. She pushed me aside, roughly, and I fell to the floor. My head made a sickening thwack as it hit the floor. Distantly, I heard the other girls scream. Above me, I saw the door swing open, and then slam shut. I scrambled up, but it was too late. By the time I peered into the hallway, she was already gone. No one has found Erin yet. I don't know what happened to Lucy, and I don't even know if she's guilty, but I wonder if she didn't actually mean to put her finger down during our game. If maybe she did it without thinking, on instinct. Or if maybe something unseen forced her finger down. If you're on Facebook, you'll notice they sometimes show you throwbacks they call memories. Old photos you posted, old status updates, that kind of thing. Usually, they're super cringy. At least they are for me, anyway. I used to be one of those college girls that posted everything on Facebook. Song lyrics that were a pointed message to an ex, desperate updates fishing for compliments, and heaps of selfies. From every angle, every expression, every hairstyle. I'd always look at them though, some weird mix of nostalgia and morbid curiosity. Or at least, I used to, until they started getting creepy. The first memory that seemed off was a photo from May 3rd, 2013. I was sitting at the bar, wearing a navy blue tank top with little polka dots. Except I didn't remember ever owning a shirt like that. You might think that doesn't sound very creepy, but I remember almost every clothing item I wore in college. I don't know if it's because I have a photographic memory, or because I was very into fashion, but I remember everything. The tight red sweater that was really flattering, but a little itchy. The denim miniskirt that I couldn't fit into after I gained the freshman 15, and the t-shirt that read nothing, but net with an old-timey 90s computer on it. I had no memory of this shirt. Maybe I borrowed it from a friend, but that wasn't the only weird thing. There were no likes or comments, not a single one, and I didn't recognize where the picture was taken. Clearly it was some sort of bar, but it definitely wasn't Victoria's, the bar we usually went to. I stared at it for a while longer, but eventually I had to click out of it and get on with my day. Soon after, I forgot about it until the next day. Another memory popped up. Without even thinking, I clicked on it, but as soon as I did, my heart began to pound. This one wasn't a photo, it was a status update. 1:43 a.m., May 4th, 2012. I don't want to live like this anymore. In of itself, that wasn't so weird. I often posted cryptic status updates, sometimes trying to drop a covert insult on an ex, other times trying to sound deep. What was odd, though, was the date. In May 2012, I was a sophomore, and I had recently entered the best relationship of my life, so it made absolutely no sense that I would be posting something like this. Maybe I was referring to my classes or something, but I remember that semester clearly. David and I had started going out. We were in the honeymoon phase, completely enamored with each other, and my classes that semester were pretty good too. I remember taking a class on folklore and urban legends in the English department. So why did I post this? I shook my head. There was no way I could remember every single status update I'd posted 10 years ago. Maybe I was just feeling down. Maybe I gained weight, or maybe one of the cliquey girls in my dorm had been mean to me. College was an emotionally tumultuous time for me, honestly. So, again, I just pushed it out of my mind and focused on other things. But then, just a few days later, there was another one. You have a new memory to look back on today, the site told me cheerfully. But when I clicked on it, all the air sucked out of my lungs. It was a photo of my hand with an engagement ring. I'm not married. I've never been engaged. What the hell? I stared at the post. It was dated May 7, 2014, only a few weeks before David and I broke up. I looked at the likes and the comments. Unlike the other two posts, this comment had one like on it, from David, but I blocked him right after the breakup. I went into my settings to double check, and there was his name on the block list. Usually when you block someone, you aren't able to click on their name if they appear at all. But when I went back to the memory, I was able to click on his name and see his profile, and my stomach fell through the floor. When I saw myself in his profile picture, I was smiling, leaning into him, my arms wrapped around his, wearing a new pair of glasses I'd never seen before, wearing an outfit I'd never seen before, but clearly wearing a wedding ring. I scrolled through the profile, but everything else was hidden. No other photos, no relationship status, nothing. My mind scrambled through the options. Is this some sick sort of joke? Maybe the profile is fake. Maybe the photo is photoshopped or AI generated, or something. I mean, there was no way it could actually be David. When he broke up with me, he didn't hate me. He wasn't vengeful. He was just indifferent to me, couldn't care less about me, which hurt more than anything, and also meant he wouldn't go through such lengths to prank me. I was the furthest thing from his mind, I'm sure. I sucked in a breath and clicked send message. The little message box popped up. My hands hovered over the keys. For a while, I couldn't decide what to say. Finally, I typed out something semi-coherent. Hi, I don't know who this is, but your joke isn't funny, and it's kind of creepy honestly. Please take me out of your profile pic. Thanks. The message went through, and then, a few seconds later, was marked as seen. My heart pounded in my chest, but no reply came. He wasn't typing or anything. It was just blank. I waited and waited, but nothing came. I stared at the screen so long, there was a nice little afterimage burned into my retinas. Finally, I slammed the laptop shut and stormed off. I thought that would be the end of it, that the message would scare them off, and they would leave me alone. But it was just the opposite. From the minute I sent that message, everything began to fall apart. Later that evening, when I got out of the shower, there was a thin, red line on my left ring finger, like I'd taken off a ring that was slightly too snug. When I woke up this morning, the left side of the bed felt warm, like someone had just been laying there. I tried to ignore it. Both things were easily explainable, weren't they? I take really hot showers, and my skin often gets blotchy red. I must have been lying on that side of the bed before I woke up. Nothing to worry about. Everything is fine. But I can't ignore the text I got tonight. The text that arrived on my phone at 11:21 p.m. from an unknown number. Hey babe, missing you. Can't wait to be back home tomorrow.